Jake, after 17 years, we're eliminating your position, my boss said flatly. Clean out your desk by end of day. My name's Jake Wilson, 54 years old, and until that Monday morning, senior systems analyst at Meridian Technologies in Columbus, Ohio. For almost 2 decades, I'd been the backbone of the IT department. From the dial-up days to cloud migration, 3 CEOs had come and gone while I stayed put, training every new hire, recovering every lost file, working through weekends and holidays without asking for a promotion or pat on the back. So when Daniel called me into his office with Vanessa from HR already seated, I knew before he opened his mouth. The air had changed weeks ago. I understand completely, I said, nodding once. I walked out without another word. No anger, no pleading, just quiet acknowledgement. Back at my desk, I watched younger employees glance my way, then quickly looked down at their screens. News travels fast. Most of them were coders I'd trained myself. Good kids, but they had no idea what was actually built into our systems or how the older architecture worked. None of them could navigate the custom software I'd written or the admin credentials buried 3 layers deep in every system. I began packing my personal items methodically. Family photo, coffee mug my son made in high school, the small cactus that somehow survived 17 years under fluorescent lighting. Bethany from marketing stopped by, her face tight with concern. "Jake, I just heard. This is ridiculous. You practically built this place." I shrugged. "Companies change direction but without any warning after everything you've done." Her voice was rising, drawing attention. "It's fine," I said quietly. "Really? It wasn't fine, but I wasn't going to make a scene." As I was leaving, Daniel stepped out of his office to watch me go. No goodbye, no handshake, just surveillance to make sure I actuate. Ellie left. What none of them had bothered to pay attention to over the years was that I had become the most critical person in the entire building. Not because I was exceptional, but because I was thorough. I documented everything, set up secure audit protocols years ago to track unauthorized access by request of the legal team during a past scandal. I also had copies. In my car, I sat for a moment, looking back at the 12-story building where I'd spent most of my adult life. The security badge I'd just surrendered had been renewed 16 times. I started the engine and drove home. They had no idea Wednesday would be fun. I'd been with Meridian since it was just 2 floors in a business park. Started when my daughter Olivia was in kindergarten. Now she was finishing grad school. The company grew and I grew with it. Turned down offers from competitors because loyalty mattered to me. My wife Andrea used to joke that the servers were my second family. She wasn't entirely wrong. I knew every system, every workaround, every backdoor solution to problems the executives didn't even know existed. The infrastructure I'd built had survived 3 acquisitions and countless innovations that management embraced, then abandoned months later. Daniel became my boss 5 years ago. Young MBA type who called our department IT resources instead of people. He had ideas about streamlining, efficiency, digital transformation, buzzwords that usually meant doing more with less. At first, I tried to help him understand our systems, the complexity buried under years of growth and adaptation. "We need to future-proof," he'd say in meetings, looking right past me. 6 months ago, he brought in a consultant named Jason Phillips. Expensive suit, firm handshake, Stanford degree displayed prominently on his LinkedIn profile. They'd huddle in conference rooms, speaking quietly whenever I walked by. 3 months ago, I noticed my access permissions being quietly modified. Nothing obvious, just small changes to administrative controls. I could have protested, but instead I watched, documented. "You seem distracted lately," Andrea said one night as we sat on the porch. "Is everything okay at work?" I nodded, sipping my beer. "Just changes, nothing I haven't seen before." But these changes felt different. I was being sidelined in meetings. Emails about system upgrades stopped, including me. Younger team members were assigned to projects I would normally handle. Then I found it. A company-wide memo about modernization initiatives that had never been shared with me. It outlined a complete restructuring of the IT department under new leadership, Jason Phillips. My position wasn't even on the organizational chart. That same day, I discovered something else. While running a routine security scan, one of those background tasks no one else bothered with anymore, I noticed unusual patterns in our financial software. Regular transfers to a vendor I didn't recognize, Apex Solutions Group. A quick search showed it was registered just last year with a business address that led to a UPS store. The authorized payments had started small but were growing each month. I didn't say anything, just noted it, copied the records, and continued watching. Sometimes the quiet man in the corner sees everything precisely because everyone thinks he sees nothing. The morning after I was let go, I sat in my home office staring at my personal laptop. No alarm had woken me, no commute waited, just silence and the weight of what had happened. Andrea brought me coffee, placing it beside me without a word. After 19 years of marriage, she knew when I needed space. "I'm going to the store," she said eventually. "Need anything?" I shook my head. After she left, I unlocked the bottom drawer of my desk and pulled out a flash drive, one of several I kept secure. Company policies strictly prohibited removing data, but years ago, when the legal team needed an audit system for tracking potential insider threats, I'd been clear about needing off-site backups. They'd signed off on it, then promptly forgotten. I plugged it in and began reviewing the files, internal emails, meeting minutes I shouldn't have had access to, financial records that normal employees would never see. There it was, a full history of payments to Apex Solutions Group, nearly $1.8 million over 18 months. The approval chain led directly to our CFO, Brian Wilcox. I dug deeper, cross-referencing dates and figures until the pattern emerged. The payments aligned perfectly with a series of software license renewals for systems we use company-wide. But the amounts were inflated, sometimes by 15%, sometimes by 20%. Small enough not to raise immediate flags, large enough to add up. I pulled up the business registration for Apex Solutions Group. The listed owner was Thomas Wilcox. A quick social media search confirmed what I suspected: Brian's brother-in-law. They were siphoning company funds through fake markup on legitimate expenses. I leaned back in my chair, feeling something shift inside me. Not anger exactly, something colder, more focused. For 17 years, I'd solved problems, fixed systems, protected data. I'd been the reliable one, the steady presence who never caused waves. And they discarded me like outdated hardware. My phone buzzed with a text from Stephen, a junior analyst I'd mentored over the past 2 years. "Sorry about yesterday. Total BS what they did. Phillips is already moving into your old office." I set the phone down without responding. The pieces all fit now. Daniel and the CFO needed me gone before anyone could connect the dots on their scheme. They probably thought the evidence would disappear with me, that I was just some aging tech guy who didn't understand modern finance. I opened my email and began drafting a message to the board of directors, then stopped, finger hovering over the send button. Too direct, too easy to dismiss as the bitter accusations of a fired employee. I needed leverage, precision, a way to expose the fraud that couldn't be ignored or covered up. I deleted the draft and started making plans. Tomorrow was Wednesday, board meeting day. Quarterly financials would be presented. Bonuses would be approved. Perfect timing. I closed the laptop and walked to the living room window, looking out at the neighborhood where we'd raised our kids and built our life. For the first time since yesterday, I smiled. Wednesday morning, I sat in my car across the street from Meridian's headquarters, watching employees stream through the revolving doors. In the passenger seat was my laptop, logged into an email account I'd created years ago for security testing. One that appeared to come from an internal company domain, but wasn't tracked in the main directory. At exactly 9:15 a.m., I sent my first move, an email to Daniel with the subject line, "Financial irregularities, urgent review needed," and a basic summary of what I'd found regarding the Apex payments. I included just enough detail to be credible, but kept the brother-in-law connection out of it. If Daniel was involved, he'd panic. If he wasn't, he'd investigate. Either way, I'd learn something. By 9:45, my phone rang. Daniel's number. I let it go to voicemail. His message was terse. "Jake, we need to discuss your email immediately. Call me back." I didn't. Instead, I drove to a coffee shop, set up my laptop, and waited. At 10:30, another email appeared. This one from Vanessa in HR. "Mr. Wilson, we've received concerning communication from you that potentially violates your separation agreement. Please cease all contact with Meridian employees and remember your confidentiality obligations. Any further communications may result in legal action, so That's how they were playing